Welcome to our Coin History channel. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare and historic coins, from the USA 1 cent to South African 20 cents. Each coin has its own story, hidden errors, metal changes, and secrets collectors love to uncover. If you enjoy discovering the history behind every coin, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Let's explore the amazing journey of coins, one piece at a time. First up, the United States 1 cent coin of 1987 may appear simple and ordinary at first glance, but when examined closely, it represents an important chapter in modern American monetary history. This coin belongs to a period when the U.S. Mint had already overcome major economic challenges related to metal prices and had entered an era of stable, high-volume coin production. The 1987 penny reflects not only the technical evolution of minting but also the social, economic, and cultural environment of the United States during the late 20th century. The Lincoln cent had been in circulation for nearly 8 decades by 1987. Introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first regularly circulating U.S. coin to feature a real historical person. By the time the 1987 penny was struck, Abraham Lincoln's image had become one of the most recognized and trusted symbols in American daily life. His portrait on the obverse of the coin symbolized unity, sacrifice, democracy, and perseverance, values that continued to resonate strongly with the American public. The year 1987 came shortly after one of the most dramatic changes in U.S. coinage history, the 1982 composition change. Before 1982, pennies were primarily copper, but rising metal costs forced the U.S. Mint to adopt a zinc core with a thin copper plating. By 1987, this transition was complete, and all 1 cent coins were made using this new composition. As a result, the 1987 penny represents the fully standardized modern Lincoln cent, produced efficiently and economically to meet the demands of a large and active economy. From a metallurgical perspective, the 1987 1 cent is composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, with the copper existing mainly as an outer coating. This change significantly reduced production costs and allowed the U.S. Mint to continue issuing pennies without the risk of losing money on each coin produced. The lighter weight of approximately 2.5 grams became the new standard, and this technical consistency is one of the defining features of pennies from this era. The design of the 1987 penny remained unchanged from previous decades. The obverse features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, with the word, Liberty, to the left and the date, 1987, to the right. Above Lincoln's head appears the motto, "In God We Trust," a phrase that had become a permanent part of U.S. coinage in the 20th century. This motto reflects the cultural and moral identity of the nation, especially during the Cold War era when ideological differences played a major role in global politics. The reverse of the 1987 penny displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This reverse design is especially meaningful because it includes a tiny engraved statue of Abraham Lincoln inside the memorial, making Lincoln one of the few individuals to appear twice on the same coin. This artistic detail symbolizes respect, remembrance, and national pride, and it remained on the penny until 2008. The year 1987 itself was a significant period in American history. The United States was in the late stages of the Cold War, experiencing both economic confidence and global political tension. Technological innovation was accelerating, consumer culture was expanding, and financial systems were becoming more complex. Coins like the 1987 penny circulated widely in everyday transactions, connecting ordinary citizens to the broader economic system. In terms of minting, the 1987 1 cent coins were produced in large quantities at major U.S. mint facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver. These mints were capable of producing millions of coins daily, using advanced machinery that ensured uniformity and speed. This mass production explains why the 1987 penny is common today, yet it also demonstrates the industrial power and efficiency of the U.S. Mint during this period. Although the 1987 penny is not considered rare, its importance lies in what it represents. It is a symbol of economic adaptation, technological progress, and continuity in national identity. For collectors, it serves as an example of a modern circulating coin that reflects stability rather than change. High-grade uncirculated examples are still valued for their bright luster, sharp strike, and historical clarity. From a general knowledge standpoint, the 1987 1-cent coin helps us understand how governments balance tradition with practicality. While the design honoring Abraham Lincoln remained unchanged, the materials and production methods evolved to meet economic realities. This balance allowed the penny to remain a part of American life despite rising costs and changing economic conditions. The 1987 penny also highlights the role of small denomination coins in everyday life. Despite its low face value, the penny played a significant role in pricing, change-making, and consumer behavior. It was used in grocery stores, public transportation, vending machines, and countless daily transactions. For many people, especially children, the penny served as the first introduction to money and coin collecting. As we continue to explore the 1987 United States 1 cent, it becomes clear that its value lies not in rarity or high market price, but in its historical and educational significance. It represents a mature phase of American coinage, where design consistency, economic efficiency, and national symbolism came together in a small but meaningful object. Next coin, 1995 United States 1 cent coin, when found in damaged condition, tells a very different story from a clean or uncirculated example. Damage on a coin is not just a physical flaw, it is a record of the coin's journey through circulation, handling, and sometimes misuse. From a general knowledge and collector perspective, understanding damage is essential to correctly identifying, evaluating, and appreciating a 1995 penny. A damaged 1995 penny usually shows signs of heavy circulation, which may include worn details on Abraham Lincoln's portrait, flattened hairlines, and weak facial features. The high points of the design, such as Lincoln's cheekbone, jawline, and coat, are often the first areas to wear down. On the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial may appear soft or blurry, with columns losing their sharp definition. In extreme cases, the fine details inside the memorial, including the small statue of Lincoln, may be completely invisible. One of the most common forms of damage seen on 1995 pennies is surface corrosion, especially because these coins are made primarily of zinc. When the thin copper plating is scratched, cracked, or worn away, the zinc core becomes exposed. Zinc reacts quickly with moisture and air, leading to bubbling, pitting, and rough, uneven surfaces. This type of damage is irreversible and significantly reduces the coin's desirability to collectors. Another frequent problem is edge damage. Many damaged 1995 pennies show bent rims, flattened edges, or small cracks caused by repeated impacts in circulation or contact with hard surfaces. Sometimes coins are accidentally damaged by machines, doors, or heavy objects. Edge damage weakens the coin structurally and is considered post-mint damage, meaning it did not occur during the minting process. Scratches and abrasions are also very common on damaged 1995 pennies. These marks may come from coins rubbing against each other, being dragged across rough surfaces, or improper cleaning attempts. From a collector's standpoint, cleaning damage is often worse than natural wear. Harsh cleaning can leave hairline scratches, unnatural shine, or dull, lifeless surfaces that permanently reduce the coin's appeal. Heat damage is another form sometimes seen in 1995 pennies. Coins exposed to fire or extreme heat may turn dark brown, black, or even bluish in color. The metal structure can weaken, and the coin may become brittle or warped. Heat-damaged coins lose nearly all numismatic value and are generally kept only as curiosity pieces or educational examples. It is important to clearly distinguish damage from mint errors, especially for the 1995 penny. The famous 1995 double die obverse is a mint error and can be valuable, but if a double die coin is heavily damaged, corroded, bent, or scratched, its value drops dramatically. Collectors always prefer error coins in the best possible condition. Damage can hide or distort important features, making authentication difficult. From a grading perspective, a damaged 1995 penny does not receive a standard numerical grade. Instead, it may be labeled as damaged, environmental damage, or improperly cleaned. Such coins are excluded from the traditional grading scale because their condition no longer reflects normal circulation wear alone. In terms of value, a damaged 1995 1 cent usually has no premium and is typically worth only face value, or sometimes less in collector markets. Even though billions of 1995 pennies were minted, collectors seek quality, not quantity. A damaged coin loses both aesthetic and historical clarity, which are key factors in numismatics. From a general knowledge angle, damaged coins like the 1995 penny are still useful for learning. They help explain why material choice matters in coin production, especially the weaknesses of zinc-based coins. They also show how everyday objects are affected by environment, human behavior, and time. Schools, beginner collectors, and museums sometimes use damaged coins as teaching tools. In conclusion, a damaged 1995 United States 1 cent is a reminder that condition plays a critical role in a coin's value and collectability. While it may no longer attract serious collectors or hold monetary significance, it still carries educational importance. It reflects real circulation life, material limitations, and the difference between mint condition, natural wear, and destructive damage. Even in damaged form, the 1995 penny continues to tell a story, one shaped not by perfection, but by use, time, and experience. Next coin, the South African 20 cents coin of 1992, is far more than a small unit of currency. It is a powerful historical artifact from one of the most important transitional periods in South Africa's national story. This coin was minted at a time when the country stood on the edge of dramatic political, social, and economic change. To truly understand the significance of the 1992 20-cent coin, one must look beyond its metal and design and examine the historical environment in which it circulated. By 1992, South Africa was approaching the end of the apartheid system, a policy of institutionalized racial segregation that had shaped the nation for nearly half a century. International pressure, economic sanctions, and internal resistance had pushed the country toward reform. Negotiations for a democratic future were underway, and although full democracy would only arrive in 1994, the early 1990s were already filled with uncertainty, tension, and hope. Coins minted during this period, including the 1992 20 cents, circulated among people living through history in real time. Currency plays a vital role in daily life, especially during periods of political instability. Despite the uncertainty of the era, South Africa's monetary system continued to function. The 20-cent coin was a commonly used denomination, suitable for small purchases, public transport, and everyday trade. Millions of these coins passed through the hands of ordinary citizens, silently witnessing conversations, struggles, and aspirations during a nation's transformation. From a general knowledge perspective, South African coins are known for reflecting national identity, language, and heritage. During the early 1990s, South African coinage still carried designs rooted in earlier political structures, yet it was already moving toward a more inclusive future. The 1992 20-cent coin belongs to this in-between phase, making it especially meaningful for historians and collectors. The metal composition of the 1992 South African 20-cent coin reflects practical economic decisions. Like many modern coins worldwide, it was produced using cost-effective alloys designed to balance durability with affordability. These choices were influenced by global metal prices and domestic economic conditions. The durability of the coin allowed it to survive heavy circulation, which is why many examples today show clear signs of wear. Design elements on South African coins often emphasize national symbolism rather than individual political figures. This approach highlights the country itself, its land, culture, and identity, rather than a single leader. For the general public, such designs reinforced a shared sense of belonging, even during times of division. For collectors, these design choices offer insight into how a nation chooses to represent itself through currency. The year 1992 also marks a moment when South Africa was slowly re-entering the global community after years of isolation. Economic reforms and political negotiations were improving the country's international relationships. Coins like the 1992 20 cents circulated alongside imported goods, new ideas, and changing social attitudes. In this way, the coin became part of a broader process of reintegration and renewal. From a collector's viewpoint, the 1992 South African 20-cent coin is generally not considered rare, but rarity is not the only factor that defines importance. Historical context plays a crucial role in numismatics. Coins minted during periods of transition are often more interesting than those produced during stable times because they capture a snapshot of change. The 1992 20 cents is valued for its connection to the final years before democratic reform. Condition is a major factor when evaluating these coins today. Many surviving examples show moderate to heavy circulation wear, including softened details, scratches, and edge marks. This wear reflects the coin's active role in daily commerce. Uncirculated or well-preserved examples are more difficult to find and are therefore more desirable to collectors, even if their monetary value remains modest. From an educational standpoint, the 1992 South African 20-cent coin helps explain how money continues to function even when societies are undergoing deep transformation. It shows that while governments negotiate and systems change, everyday life goes on, supported by simple objects like coins. This makes the coin a valuable teaching tool for understanding economics, history, and social resilience. As we continue to explore the story of the 1992 South African 20 cents, it becomes clear that its true value lies in what it represents rather than what it is worth. It represents endurance, transition, and the quiet presence of history in ordinary life. Each worn surface and faded detail reflects countless transactions and untold personal stories from a nation on the verge of a new final coin. The United States 1-cent coin of 1982 is one of the most important and educational coins in the entire history of American currency because it represents a direct response to economic pressure, rising metal prices, and changing global conditions. Unlike many coins that simply continue an existing tradition, the 1982 penny marks a clear turning point where necessity forced change, and that change permanently reshaped the future of U.S. coinage. By the early 1980s, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for more than 70 years. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the penny had long been made primarily of copper. For decades, this was not a problem because copper was affordable and readily available. However, as global demand for copper increased and inflation affected commodity prices, the cost of producing copper coins began to rise sharply. By 1981 and 1982, the situation had become critical. The intrinsic value of the copper in a penny was approaching, and at times exceeding, its face value of 1 cent. This created a serious economic problem for the U.S. government. Producing a coin that cost more to make than it was worth undermined the efficiency and credibility of the monetary system. As a result, the U.S. Mint was forced to take decisive action. The year 1982 became the solution point. During this single year, the United States Mint changed the metal composition of the 1-cent coin from the traditional 95% copper alloy to a new, cost-effective structure made of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper coating. This change was not merely technical, it was symbolic of how modern economies adapt to financial pressure. The penny of 1982 stands as a real-world example of economics influencing everyday objects. What makes the 1982 1-cent truly unique is that both copper and zinc pennies were produced in the same year. This was not a planned collector event, but rather a transitional necessity. The U.S. Mint continued producing copper pennies early in the year while simultaneously introducing zinc-based pennies as the new standard. This overlap resulted in multiple varieties that fascinate collectors to this day. From a general knowledge perspective, the 1982 penny teaches the concept of transitional coinage. Transitional coins are produced during periods of change and often exist in more than one metal, design, or specification within the same year. For students of economics and history, the 1982 penny provides a simple but powerful lesson in how governments manage costs, resources, and public trust. The difference between the copper and zinc 1982 pennies can be physically felt. Copper pennies weigh approximately 3.11 grams, while zinc pennies weigh about 2.5 grams. This weight difference allows collectors and learners to identify the composition using a scale. In classrooms and coin clubs, the 1982 penny is often used as a hands-on teaching tool to explain metal composition, density, and material science. Design-wise, the 1982 penny maintained the familiar Lincoln portrait created by Victor David Brenner. Abraham Lincoln's image continued to symbolize unity, honesty, and sacrifice. The obverse features the motto, "In God We Trust," above Lincoln's head, "Liberty," to the left, and the date, 1982, to the right. These elements reflect continuity in national identity even during times of material change. The reverse side of the 1982 penny shows the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959. The memorial represents remembrance and respect for Lincoln's legacy. Inside the memorial, a small statue of Lincoln can be seen, making the penny one of the few coins to feature the same individual on both sides. This design choice reinforces the importance of Lincoln in American cultural memory. The early 1980s were a challenging time for the United States economy. Inflation, high interest rates, and global competition placed pressure on industry and government alike. The decision to change the penny's composition was part of a broader effort to control costs and maintain economic stability. Coins like the 1982 1 cent are therefore closely connected to larger economic policies and realities. From a minting perspective, the transition was complex. Producing two different compositions in the same year required careful management, quality control, and logistical coordination. The U.S. Mint had to ensure that both types of coins met circulation standards while gradually shifting entirely to the new zinc-based format. This behind-the-scenes effort highlights the industrial and administrative challenges involved in currency production. Collectors today view the 1982 penny as one of the most studied modern U.S. coins. Numerous varieties exist, including differences in composition, date size, and mint marks. While many 1982 pennies are common, certain combinations are scarcer and attract strong collector interest. Even for non-collectors, the coin remains valuable as an educational artifact. The 1982 1 cent also plays an important role in discussions about the future of the penny. If the composition could change once due to cost, could it change again, or be eliminated entirely? Debates about the usefulness of the penny often reference 1982 as proof that the coin has already adapted to survive economic pressure. As we reflect on the 1982 United States 1 cent, it becomes clear that this coin represents far more than spare change. It is a symbol of adaptation, economic realism, and the intersection of policy and daily life. In the palm of one's hand, the 1982 penny carries lessons about inflation, resource management, and the enduring importance of national symbols. If you love rare coins, hidden history, and surprising facts, you're in the right place. On this channel, we explore famous coins like the USA 1 cent and historic world coins, revealing their stories, errors, and real value. Every coin has a past, and every detail matters. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because the next coin you see might be worth more than you think. Let's continue our journey through history, one coin at a time.